felt like he loved me very much, and I know he did, and I felt like the same way. So if I was unhappy in some way, then I was the one who had to do something, not him. He was doing everything he wanted. I, at that time, was cared very deeply for Sean, and we just didn't have the same kind of ideals about life and family.
One of the biggest questions in the Diddy trial is which other celebrities will be named. Those who participated, those who witnessed, those who stayed silent.
A lot. He was kind of like a mentor in a way, not a mentor, but like guided me. You know,
Right.
He had a rough way of doing it, but he did.
Yeah,
he did guide me.
Diddy's infamous white parties, already the stuff of legend, are now under federal scrutiny. According to the New York Post, the feds are widening the investigation. The probe now includes claims that Diddy boasted about using weapons, bribing jurors, and even using Jennifer Lopez as a mule. Things are getting strange, as expected. Having worked in the
One of the biggest questions in the Diddy trial is what other celebrities will be named, who participated in the f***s and who witnessed the f***s. I mean, Diddy's white parties are infamous.
According to the New York Post, the feds are set to widen the investigation. Diddy's blank probe over claims that the rapper boasted about using a pew-pew on people, bribing jurors, and using J.Lo as a pew-pew mule.
Well, we're gonna see a lot of strange things take place due to the fact that I know how this world works. After working in the industry, I converted my business to combat human trafficking. Last year, my team brought home 17 people, 4 children, 1 boy.
Industry, and now working in anti-trafficking efforts. I've seen the darker side. My team rescued 17 people last year, including 4 children. This trial shines a harsh light on the entertainment world. No glitz, no glamour.
I was telling you that I could always see you getting back with Puffy in a little way.
Just federal courtrooms and allegations of trafficking, racketeering, and abuse. Justin Bieber, once romantically linked to Cassie, has broken his silence. His rep told E.T. that while Justin wasn't one of the victims, there were others who were, shifting the focus away from
Kind of fall in love with anybody, and I know it may not seem like that to people, but too bad.
this reality, they said, detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Meanwhile, disturbing videos, raids on Diddy's properties, and whispers of celebrity involvement keep fueling speculation. When Homeland Security stormed Diddy's homes in LA and Miami, they seized boxes of electronics. Rumors suggest he filmed his so-called performances.
Because they started off with this dramatic flair pointing right to Sean Diddy Combs and painting him really as, this larger-than-life icon, but saying that behind that there was another side to him, one where he used his celebrity, his power, really his entire business to force victims into unconsensual. And they started off by painting the picture of one night where they said he was essentially in a rage. He was on the hunt for his girlfriend, the R&B singer Cassie. And they say he kind of got wind that she was going to be with another man. And he went to one of his employees, grabbed them out of bed, forced them to go with a security guard in their SUV to the man's home, broke in. And when they found they weren't there, went off again to look for Cassie. And they depict how when he finally found Cassie, that he brutally beat her, flung her around like a rag doll. And they used that one night to paint the picture of what they say happened over 20 years, not just to Cassie, but to another woman named Jane, who they say the jury will hear from, and also an employee named Mia that they say the jury will hear from. And they say he was somebody who referred to himself as a king and expected to be treated like one, had impossible demands. So really setting the tone of the kind of character they want them.
And parties. raising questions about what might be caught on tape. Jennifer Lopez, yes, that J.Lo, is now being pulled into the conversation. Her romantic past with Diddy and the 1999 nightclub shooting have resurfaced. She might even be called to testify, but this isn't just about her. It's about a system of power, a culture of silence. And at the heart of the prosecution's case is Cassandra Ventura, Cassie. 4 days on the witness.
Getting to Cassie, how's her demeanor in court today?
To watch someone who is visibly pregnant sort of take deep breaths at times, she's keeping her cool. Honestly, she didn't cry or anything like that. Obviously, early on in the testimony, there were some things that had her in tears. But today, she's been very calm, very measured, especially considering the audio clip that we heard of her threatening to kill someone. I looked over at the jury box because I was wanting to hear their reaction as we're hearing in real time her voice threatening several times to kill someone because she's concerned about this video, and the jurors were shocked. I saw the eyebrows raised, I saw them listening, and I think to hear her voice in court and see how calm and measured she is, and then to hear that side of her. Again, it was in 2014 that this audio clip was something that she recorded, but clearly she's threatening someone who she thinks might release the video, and she's worried about it.
And the person that she was threatening was one of Diddy's associates.
Correct.
What was Diddy's reaction? What was Cassie's own reaction when she heard her audio?
She just kind of looked down. She seems to be very calm. I mean, I think she knows that some of this evidence was going to come out. So she's answering the questions, yes, no. When she doesn't remember something, she's very clear about that. But the prosecution, the defense has been trying to poke some holes into the testimony she gave about the alleged rape that she said took place toward the end of
witness stand, and her testimony was gut-wrenching. She painted a horrifying picture of an 11-year relationship marked by coercion, violence, and manipulation. This wasn't about sexual preference. It was about control. She described how Diddy financially trapped her, forced her into humiliating situations, and even filmed her while she was abused. In one chilling detail, she said she was forced to have a male prostitute
lawsuit from his ex, Cassie Ventura.
Though Cassie and Diddy did not detail the terms of that agreement, the settlement quickly shuts down the potential for a trial and the process of legal discovery. That's when evidence in the case is often...
I think that's what we avoid a lot of times because it's usually the truth, and the truth kind of is hard to deal with most of the time. Very happy day once it's not something we have to think.
Urinate in her mouth. In another, she was flung around a hotel room like a rag doll. The prosecution argued that this wasn't a one-time event. This was a pattern, repeated with Jane, another woman, and an employee named Nia. Jane, a single mother, will testify that Diddy forced her into drug-fueled group sex called freak-offs, which he orchestrated and filmed. She says she vomited during one of these encounters and tried to leave, but Diddy forced her back in, saying, "You're not going to mess up my night." She described being physically assaulted, choked, lifted off the ground, and thrown to the floor. Prosecutors say this was a well-oiled system of exploitation. The staff provided drugs, set up rooms, cleaned up after the encounters. Blood, bodily fluids, baby oil, meticulously wiped away. In May 2018, a man named Jonathan Odie opened fire at Trump's golf course in Miami. While being questioned, he claimed he'd been a slave for Diddy and Cassie. He described 15 encounters, phone calls, and abuse. His mental break, he said, was triggered by what he experienced under Diddy's control. Surveillance footage from 2016 supports Cassie's claims. Diddy was captured on camera, violently attacking her. The images shocked the court. But what's more disturbing is how familiar this is. Women have come forward in Hollywood before: Weinstein, R. Kelly, now Diddy, and they've faced skepticism, retaliation, or silence. This time the world is watching, and strange things keep happening. A male worker who reportedly provided tapes to the feds vanished, just like Tory
testimony just about how this was not a case about celebrity preferences, that this was about coercion and control. They say that Cassie, that only one person had power in that relationship, and it was Diddy, not her, that he forced her into these that she didn't enjoy at all, but she felt she had no choice. That in one instance, she almost felt like she was choking because he had a male prostitute urinate in her mouth. I mean, just to give you a sense of some of the graphic detail that we're going to be hearing over these next few weeks. And essentially, they say that this went on for years and years because he had financial control of her life, that she felt she couldn't escape. Again, that she was physically abused throughout this relationship. So, as you say, so much really hinges on Cassie and the testimony, and of course, that video, that CCTV footage from that LA hotel in 2016. We're going to be hearing from the prosecution. They introduced that. What's really important with Jane is they say this all happened not even a year ago, this relationship with Jane. As you say, single mother. She wanted to have a relationship with him, but it wasn't so public in the way it was with Cassie. Now, prosecutors said that she will testify that shortly into their relationship, he asked her to take part in these freak-offs. And she initially agreed, but was surprised that he wanted to set one up quickly. They say that it was his employees that got the drugs, and that Jane, at one point, after taking the drugs and being forced to have sex with a male prostitute, that she actually threw up because she was so disturbed by it. She didn't like it at all, they said. And they said that Diddy told her, "You're not going to mess up my night. Get back in here and finish." And also with Jane, they tried to, again, depict that there was a pattern here, that he also was physically abusive with her, saying at one point during an altercation between the two that they both got upset, that he grabbed her by her throat and picked her up in a chokehold and then threw her to the ground. So another case where they're trying to depict how, again, this was something that he did not just with Cassie.
Lanez's missing bodyguard, also key to that case. Diddy's defense team is pulling out every trick, admitting to past domestic violence, but denying the current charges. He may have been a terrible boyfriend, they argue, but he was not the mastermind of a criminal enterprise. They claim Cassie's encounters were consensual, part of an extreme but shared lifestyle. But the evidence tells a darker story. Cassie, now pregnant, kept her composure during testimony, even when the defense played a 2014 audio clip of her threatening someone over a possible leaked video. The jury listened intently. Her calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the voice in the tape. When asked, she simply said yes, no, or I don't remember. But the prosecution stands by her. The defense tried to undermine her rape allegation, suggesting inconsistencies. Meanwhile, prosecutors have pointed to racketeering. Staff facilitated abuse, set up hotel rooms, cleaned them, hid evidence. And the baby oil, obsessively heated, applied by sex workers under Diddy's orders, became a twisted symbol of control. Then there's the 1999 shooting at Club New York, where Diddy and J.Lo fled in a vehicle with a stolen gun. Charges followed. J.Lo was cleared. Diddy was acquitted. But the scandal remains. Reports say J.Lo was warned to break up with Diddy to protect her career. She did. That broke his heart. Now, 2 decades later, prosecutors want her on the stand. She could speak not just to that night, but to Diddy's character, his demeanor, and his treatment of women. To this day, she's remained quiet. No defense for Cassie. No statement against Diddy. But the public hasn't forgotten, and if she testifies, her words could be powerful. Then there's the drugs, MDMA, ecstasy, dubbed the love drug. Diddy's alleged 20-year addiction to it may have distorted his morality. Some say it turned him into a deviant. What kind of man forces others to watch as a prostitute urinates on the woman he claims to love? What kind of man builds an empire on secrecy, coercion, and fear? The trial rages on. The Intercontinental Hotel has agreed to pay Cassie nearly $10 million for the 2016 incident caught on camera. That settlement, revealed in court, further supports her claims. But this isn't just about one woman or one night. It's about a system, about celebrity, about unchecked power. From Weinstein to Kelly, and now Diddy, the pattern is undeniable. If the allegations hold, the fallout won't be limited to Diddy. The industry itself may be forced to change. Cassie's courage in stepping forward is enormous. She's not alone. Others may follow. And behind them, a long line of enablers, staffers who cleaned up, who booked rooms, who looked the other way. Justice, if it comes, will come slowly, carefully, painfully. But this case is already shaking the foundations of celebrity power. Some say Diddy made people disappear. If true, that's chilling. If false, the fear is still real. And now, J.Lo stands at a crossroads. Will she testify? Will she stay silent? The world is watching. The silence is ending. The era of accountability is here. Whether this trial ends in conviction or acquittal, the message is clear. The veil is lifting. Secrets are surfacing. And real change, maybe, just maybe, is on the horizon. Stay tuned.